So we're here for Amanda and Hunter. And now Amanda and Hunter were one of the not so lucky people to want to get married during 2020. So they actually got married April 2nd, 2020 on the Santa Barbara courthouse steps with nothing but Zooming to their friend who's their officiant and having some other people watch via Zoom. So just the two of them and a cell phone. And since then, they have been wanting to come back here to the place where they got engaged in 2018 to come back and do epic photos because they never had that big wedding. They never had the big wedding dress. I'm pretty sure Amanda was in jeans when they got married, or at least Hunter was. But now we're going to photograph the two of them in this absolutely epic location that's really special to them. We have 2 full days photographing here, and staying on site is something else. I mean, there's nobody around me. This is technically the second most touristy place in France, second to Paris, of course, but it's not overwhelming. I'm literally watching people walk through the waiting tide here. It's incredible. So I'm excited to show you everything we have in store. I brought all of my absolute amazing equipment with me, and thank you so much for Canon CPS for letting me borrow the 10-20, the RF 10-20 f4 lens. I love that lens. I used it once on the Canon EOS R5 Mark II campaign, and it's great for shooting those wide shots, which we'll be able to do really nicely in the Abbey. There's like this iconic corner of windows that I know with the 10, it's just going to look absolutely epic. So what I have with me, the Canon EOS R5 Mark II, we were photographing some BTS with the PowerShot V10 that I have here, as well as the Canon R6 Mark II. I brought the 10-20 f4, 28-70, 85 1.2, and the 100-300 2.8 because Amanda has been amazing. She's Google mapped different places around, like within a mile or so from here, that have really good views of Mont Saint Michel in the background. And using a 1-300 ultra compression, it's gonna look really, really cool. So I'm excited. This shoot's just gonna be all sorts of epic. Thanks so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. We're gonna start off with an embarrassing story. I got here a day early. Yes, I did. And to make matters worse, I got there a day early and then texted the bride and groom, hey, where are you guys? Totally freaked her out. Actually saw her heart rate rise on her iWatch later. Anyway, so I was really prepared for this shoot, but this was the first spot that we hit. You had to drive through some serious bumpy roads to get here, but this immediately I took out the 1-300 lens because look how big Mont Saint Michel looks in the background. So working here, you know, with the 1-300, photographing at 300, it just made I'm going to call it a castle. Made the castle larger than life. And one other fun thing to know about this shoot is I got to kind of just wear whatever I wanted because it was an actual wedding. So we shot for 2 nights, and the really cool thing was we started around 7 o'clock. And 7 o'clock is broad daylight. The sun doesn't set till I think it was 10:20. So we hit a few different spots that she gave us on the map. This spot here, we stumbled across these beautiful stone walls and the pink flowers. This just happened to be next to the winding river, and I saw it and saw how the light was coming over the building. We just pulled over and created some moments here, created some photos here, and it was just absolutely beautiful. I loved pulling out my 85mm lens. It's not one that I typically take with me on a wedding day, especially when I'm traveling, but for this particular shoot, I made sure to take it out and use it. Getting photos of Amanda by herself was just so much fun. She's just so gorgeous. It's not even funny. It's not fair to everyone else, I always say. And then Hunter actually is a photographer himself, so we had so much fun. It was fun photographing him, but we were geeking out. He was actually playing with my 1-300 lens at one point, and then he went home and bought it. I think he actually ended up buying the 10-20. Wait till you see that 10-20 lens later. It was just ridiculous. Oh, while we were walking around here on kind of the side of the road, really, a bunch of sheep came by, and it was just such a cute moment. Such like, I don't know that it's a typical France thing, but let's just say these photos of the sheep coming by, it made it into their wedding album. Yes, it did. There they are. Love the sheep. It was so great, honestly, just hanging out with them for 2 days. So it was a 2-day shoot. We did one night, and then the next night, the first night we concentrated on everything outside. And then the second we concentrated on inside and like, you know, close to the Abbey. The sun was still pretty high here and pretty, you know, this was like 8, 9 o'clock at night. It was still pretty high here. So I was trying to get a silhouette, which I ended up having to pull down that sky in post quite a bit to get the silhouette, but I also wanted to get, in addition to the natural light shot here with the silhouette, we ended up getting drone and flash, which you'll see in a second. Now, posing hands is a big thing for me. So we really worked on having that like princess hand in the back there. And, you know, one thing that's fun, aside from dropping my camera on the floor, is trying to get them to pose when I am photographing very far away, because with that 1:300, I mean, that's what made this look so epic. It's still like really far away. All right, so I wanted to do some without silhouetting here, but I didn't want to bring out my flash in this particular time, so we actually just used a reflector. This is my absolute favorite reflector. It's the Adorama brand Glow 5-in-1 reflector. This is the 32-inch model, which is perfect for photographing just 2 people, and it also fits in my carry-on, which is huge. You know, traveling into France, you know, or really anywhere, I travel 150 days a year, you want to make sure you are as portable as possible. But just that kick of light, and by kick I mean I was blinding them a little bit, helped fill in their faces enough so that I could get a proper exposure on them without whiting out the sky behind them. It was a stretch, I'm not gonna lie, it was a stretch. Sun started to go down, and that's really when the magic happens, especially since there's so many spots where there's water. And I try to go really far back to get certain reflections in this water. I honestly couldn't find like the exact spot I really wanted, but this was still a great spot despite all the bugs that you will see. It was still a great spot to use flash photography as the sun went down. And, you know, we had Mont Saint Michel in the background and that beautiful sunset, the sky really coming alive. It definitely was a lot of walking back and forth because I kept wanting to shoot with that 1:300. But then we went and got closer to the castle. This is really right outside the castle, and that's where I was able to more go with like an 85mm or the 28-70 and use a flash. I had my Profoto A10s with me and my Profoto A2s. So this has a Profoto A2, we just photoshopped out or Lightroomed out the photographer there, actually a videographer on my video team, thanks to Gion da Silva, who helped find me the videographer team, but also assistant team. So we photoshopped out, the light was very close to them. It had the Click Beauty dish on it, and that was just like perfect for lighting them and letting the entire scene come to life. And here is where we have reflections on the water, and it was just absolutely epic. So getting a nice big scene was a perfect way to end day one. In case you haven't already heard about today's video sponsor, Squarespace, let me tell you some of my favorite features. I've used Squarespace for a ton of different websites. My photography website, e-commerce website, selling photography education, and I've even designed my dad's band website. And it's all done in just a few clicks because Squarespace has really wonderful design templates for any type of style that you can imagine, and they're all clean, professional, and really easy to use. Now, if you're a photographer like I am and you are always on the go, updating your website tends to be the thing you put on the back burner. Well, with Squarespace's app, you can upload new photos to your website right from your mobile device, making sure that your photography work that is showcased is up to date at all times. Now, Squarespace isn't just about building a website. Yeah, it does that, and it's great. It also goes one step further into the workflow management of your business, including sending invoices, calendar scheduling, accepting payments, you name it, Squarespace probably does it. Now, if you head to the link in the description below, you're gonna get an extra 10% off. So make sure you take advantage of that. Try out Squarespace and see how easy it is to create a website, manage it, throw anything you want on there, and showcase your business as best as it can be. Now back to the video. Going into day 2, this is where we had to climb a bazillion steps, and there's nowhere for her to change up top. So she had her fan, she had her sneakers. We were very prepared, and we went to the different spots in the actual abbey. So this is the abbey, and yes, we got permits and permission and all of that. But it's a touristy spot, so you still have to work with all the people around. And of course, that kind of awkwardness of having to pose with people. But because of this area, this is where that RF, the Canon RF 10-20 f4 lens really made a difference. I have a 15-35, but I did not bring it. I borrowed that 10-20 and used that so much, just getting all the beautiful architecture. And then I had my big moment of creativity. This is probably my favorite, not this one, this is probably my favorite shot once we dropped the veil and I did a slow exposure. I think I was at around a 1/13 of a second. And as I took the photo, they dropped the veil and it created the most epic photo of like the entire trip, in my opinion. I love this photo so much. But more steps after that. Yep. So tons of steps, and we hit a bunch of different spots. And what's nice, you know, the Abbey's circular. So some spots it was dead, you know, on flat light, which just made the sky look really good, especially since we had some wispy clouds in there. And then we photographed, you know, our groom by himself also. This was the perfect power pose spot. And, you know, we have people in here, but again, we took them out in the final photos. And some of the views were just incredible. We both stayed in the actual city, so no one is there at night. And actually, no, it sounds fun, but there's also like no breakfast or dinner spots really that great, or open that late or open that early. But you're able to just be in this incredible area. And then some of the views up top, just no words. No words for all of this. It was just absolutely epic. It was definitely hot, so excuse my sweat stains. So this, I don't think I could have done this with the 15-35, just been getting this really wide spot. I mean, it would have worked, but again, the 10-20 this is an iconic spot in that abbey, and I really wanted to use all of these archways in as many different ways as possible. The lighting was not super fabulous here. I tried to kind of get you know, a dramatic kind of moody look, but the light wasn't totally fitting on faces as much as I want it to, honestly. So I tried also to I lit up the background. That's actually a flash lighting up the background there. And then we did some more architectural things like shooting through all the columns here. One of the photos here is probably one of my absolute favorites. And then, you know, we thought we had until I think it was like 7:30, but they ended up starting to kick us out a little bit early, which was not fun. But I mean, we definitely had enough. I mean, I can't complain. I mean, we had, I think, like 6 hours worth of shoots, and just with people who wanted nothing more than to do these shoots. So it was just such a great experience. I got to be, you know, super creative. I have to admit, I did a little bit of gazebo hopping, I call it, where it's just like, oh, I want to shoot here and here and here and here. So a lot of these shots are just a lot wider than I would normally shoot because, you know, you don't really come to Mont Saint Michel just to get close-ups of your face, right? Like you want the atmosphere and everything. But Amanda's veil, as you've seen before, was just super epic, and I used it over and over and over and over again. Now the photos that you're seeing are edited in Lightroom and Evoto. So because this is a very special client, I usually only edit in Lightroom first, and by I mean Kayla, who's my amazing editor. But because, again, really special client, really special moment, I threw all of the edited photos through Evoto, and Evoto does retouching, batch retouching, and I'm not a huge retoucher, but I basically just smoothed out some skin tones, and I was able to you know, do flyaway hairs, any wrinkling in his tux, you know, things like that. So it just, I gave them a very, very polished final product, which I really wanted to do because again, just really special client. After, you know, sort of getting kicked out of the Abbey, you know, rushed along. There were a couple spots in the town that I really wanted to hit that were just absolutely beautiful, you know, with the florals and the stairs and just all the architecture and this entire place. So Disney's Rapunzel's castle was, you know, inspired by this castle, this abbey, and I can see why. It's so surreal. It's like walking into an episode of Game of Thrones. I think actually The Walking Dead was filmed here at some point, but these were the last shots of the entire trip. I could have stayed here for weeks, honestly. Could have stayed here for weeks. doing these photos. And then of course we had to do a good TikTok in here, so I'll show you the TikTok. It was a trendy one, wasn't anything particularly fabulous. Actually, I take that back. There's a couple of TikToks that I've done with these photos that have done pretty well. And then the final product here was an album, so I will show you that at the end. The very, very last spot that we photographed was right in front, exactly where they got engaged. We actually looked at the photo of their engagement photo and then redid it here. And then just for funsies, in Evoto, the final photo that I did, we decided to put a sunset on it because why not? And again, this was like 9 o'clock at night. So that's what I have for you. Hit like, subscribe, ring the bell, and I'll see you next time. Hey photographers, if you are looking to grow your photography business to 6 figures and beyond, I have a solution for you, something called the Photo Insiders Mastermind, where on Zoom, I'm going to literally work with you to show you the processes, systems for how I am now a multi-7-figure photography studio. And by the way, it's not a one-stop shop thing. I am not going to pretend that you are not going to work, you will work. This is a mastermind, and I only want people who are serious about being a successful photographer and running it like a business. You can check out the link below and you'll end up learning how I have run my photography business, travel 150 days per year, and live the life that I've always dreamed of. Description, go down there, take a look, click on the link, and I'll be in touch.